Given Donald Trump's campaign spending the long weekend in a slow-boiling controversy about Twitter. On Saturday morning, Trump's Twitter account displayed this image, a tweet calling Hillary Clinton the most corrupt candidate ever, with the words inside a six-pointed star. Many pointed out it was a Star of David shape placed on a bed of $100 bills. The Star of David is an image that represents the Jewish faith, and as the criticism of the use of the imagery grew, Trump replaced the image with a circle, though the points of the star were still visible underneath. Trump remained silent on the matter. Then on Sunday, Mike.com first reported that the image had appeared earlier on a message board used by white supremacists. The same graphic appeared 2 weeks earlier on an account that promoted racist imagery. Trump still had no comment, but his former campaign manager said the controversy was political correctness run amok.
Look, a tweet is a simple tweet, and the bottom line is you can read into things that aren't there. It's the same star that sheriff's departments across the country use all over the place to represent law enforcement, and to read into something that isn't there is you know what, I think, again, that's the mainstream media trying to attack Donald Trump for something that really isn't theirs. Again, the bottom line, this is political correctness run amok. If this would have been a star next to Hillary Clinton and didn't have the cash behind it, no one would be questioning this.
The Anti-Defamation League had a different view, saying in a statement released on Sunday, quote, "We are outraged to see that his campaign is sourcing material like this offensive image from white supremacist websites and online resources. It is long overdue for Mr. Trump to reject the anti-Semites and racists with the same clarity and energy that he has brought to the campaign trail when calling out other candidates." After 48 hours of silence on the matter, Trump tweeted yesterday, "Dishonest media is trying their absolute best to depict a star in a tweet as the Star of David rather than a sheriff's star or a plain star." The Clinton campaign called out Trump for the use of a, quote, blatantly anti-Semitic image from racist websites and saying it is, quote, part of a pattern. Trump argued back that it was, quote, a basic star often used by sheriffs who deal with criminals and criminal behavior, part of his allegation that Clinton is corrupt. Meanwhile, Trump's social media director and one of his core aides, Dan Scavino, sought to explain the original tweet. We're talking about a tweet, everybody. I've been talking for 5 minutes about a tweet. The tweet's origin, quote, "The social media graphic used this weekend was not created by the campaign, nor was it sourced from an anti-Semitic site. It was lifted from an anti-Hillary Twitter user where countless images appear." Can we stop at some point? I'm going to stop. Just come to me. Okay. So they go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth over this stupid tweet, which was rude, racist, anti-Semitic at worst, and maybe a big mistake, possibly. But with the pattern, no one really knows. So why can't the Trump campaign get it? That this is one of those times where you just apologize.
They don't apologize.
Let's say it was a really big mistake. Let's just benefit of the doubt. Well, make a mistake like that, and God knows we've all made many. You can't go through life without making mistakes, okay? You just say you're sorry. You're deeply sorry. You perhaps do something and say something to show how much you care and how untrue.
The closest they came was their social media director, who said, "I don't want to offend anybody. That's why within a couple of hours we took this down." But look, if you're the campaign, you're looking at this, it's not changing the equation for them with their base of support. No one's going to change their view. In fact, if anything, it makes them hate the media more, any more than it's going to change.
I got tired reading it. We're talking about a tweet. Why can't they say sorry for a tweet?
So,
I don't get it.
That's a decision that's made by Mr. Trump.
Halperin.
So, Bob, when Trump shows up on Thursday and meets with congressional Republicans, do you think that they are still going to be unhappy with his level of rapid response and staying on message?
I think so, because most presidential campaigns at this stage have 15 to 20 people vetting social media. The Trump campaign has Scavino and a few others. And what we see at the Trump campaign is a lack of a filter. There are these online forums called the alternative right, the alt-right, sites like 4chan, where people who associate with racism, anti-Semitism, and other unsavory parts of the national political discourse, they discuss Trump and other topics, and some of these images and conversations conversations migrate to the fringes of Twitter, and as we've seen with Trump's Twitter feed in the past, sometimes he picks up on these images and integrates them into his feed, and there's not a filter between these fringe elements, these sometimes racist and anti-Semitic elements, and what ends up in the stream of things that appear with Donald Trump. And his campaign says it was a mistake, a sheriff's star, but this is something that's telling about how they operate and how they really don't have a process for managing information inside of a campaign at this level.
Look, there's something here in this response that exemplifies this sort of absolutely out-of-control desire to fight the media and the world that is Palin-esque. I mean, completely out of the bounds of norm. I mean, there's everything in Donald Trump's family and history that shows that he is not a racist, that he is not I point to his son-in-law. There are so many things they could do to show that this does not represent who Donald Trump is, and yet they want to fight. They want to fight the media. They want to fight the opposition. They want to fight and get ugly at every turn. I mean, this is a mistake, obviously.
It comes directly from the candidate. I mean, if you've learned anything from reporting on Donald Trump, is everything inside of that campaign comes directly from the top and the candidate's ethos, the way he operates. And he loves the fight. He relishes the fight. And so when you see his combative campaign, it's because the candidate internally and externally is encouraging that.
Anything you know about his business life proves what Robert just said.
Right.
And in addition to that, he believes that it's what got him to where he is right now. It worked during the primaries. We talked about whether or not he'd be able to make that turn. The answer